YouTube, welcome back to Making Sense. In this week's episode we have finished benchwork project number 2 and we take a crack at hardening steel in a charcoal barbecue. Hello, welcome to the show. Let's get rolling. Okay, it's been a busy week. I have completed, as I mentioned, my second project in the benchwork section of the class. I'll show it to you in here. It is clamped onto the mag base. It is, come on, unlock, T-slot cleaner. I will show you the design for this particular thing. Ta-da! And the plans are as shown. Note the dimensions from the datum point. That was not, well, first I made it exactly as shown on the plan. Got all of my dimensions within 1 thou tolerance. I was very pleased with that. And then afterward I just said, well, since they've been telling us from the get-go that this tool we get to keep and this will be our tool, and I've got my name down as the client, I did what the client wanted after I got it perfectly right and impressed the heck out of the teacher. And the next thing I did not impress him so much, because I basically took the plans as they were and chucked them out. Maintained all of the tolerances and the dimensions and such, but I rounded all of the edges and made these corners nice and soft. The tool end, the business end, is still square. They're just very minor, tiny chamfer on it. But the actual tool itself is now quite comfortable to hold in the hand in any type of position. It doesn't dig in or anything like that. You can really get a good grip on it, and so it is a more effective tool now than the actual design. Although my instructor was a little cheesed off that I did that because he considered himself the client. In this case I am, and that's my story and I'm sticking to it. And if he disagrees with this, then he is welcome to make a better one than this. The glove has been thrown down. Anyway, yes, another thing we've got this week. This weekend is my partner's birthday, and she is really enjoying the carving unit in her cabinet making class, and so she asked me if I could make her a chipped carving knife. I'm certainly willing to do this. Problem was, we've only got this mild steel here, which is really soft. Allow me to demonstrate. So, like that, you can just cut right through it. And so if I were to make a carving knife out of this, it would, even for super soft wood like basswood, which he's going to be using, it just wouldn't hold an edge. So I decided to do an experiment this week, and I took the blade which I formed. I will show you some video of me shaping that, and I threw it into my charcoal barbecue while we were making some roast pork, and you can hear it's actually hardened it up quite a bit. It still gets marked by the file. It's not like nothing like 50 Rockwell or anything like that. In fact, I don't know what the Rockwell hardness of this is, but I'm going to be taking this untreated piece and this carburized piece, this barbecue piece of steel, into the Rockwell tester next week at RTC, and I will get some empirical data on just how much harder it got. It is definitely noticeably harder. The tip here, where it's quite thin, would flex at the slightest provocation before, and now it's actually stiff, which is amazingly cool. I didn't really think that it would work, but live and learn. That's pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, let's get into it. I'm going to show you some shots of me working this steel, carving it down with a great big rasp at Helios Makerspace. I did try using the grinding wheel they have there, but it's just a little 6-inch grinding wheel, and it was making an impressive shower of sparks, but it really wasn't doing much to actually get through the stock. It was much faster and efficient to just go at it with muscle power and a big heavy-duty rasp. Then let's see. Then we'll have ourselves a good old-timey movie and take a look at the process of lighting the fire with the chunk of steel down in the coals, of cooking a delicious pork roast, and then pulling out the steel at the end of the process and quenching it. And yeah, we can take a look at that, and let's roll. You may be curious, what does one use for a rub or marinade when one is carburizing steel? Well, in this case, I use chili powder, cumin, black pepper, lemon juice, and I'd like to put in molasses or barbecue sauce. In this case, I didn't have any. We do have a sweet soy sauce, which surprisingly tastes almost exactly like blackstrap molasses. Go figure. So, there you go. Barbecue setup for carburizing rig. Now we're into cooking. Let's take a look. Okay, coals are getting low. Flip this over. Oh, that looks nice. Now, we need to get coals under here. We can't slide this over there because we got this here. How do we do this? It's like Tetris, man. Tetris is all. Oh, flip this over. Slide this over there. So this here. So Tetris move. Tetris is cool. All right, I'm going to pull out this from the coals. I'm going to quench it in water. Don't know if this is the correct kind, but it doesn't. But standard steel is pretty good with water quenching, and if anything will harden it up, this will do it. So, as they say, here goes nothing. And it appears slightly bluish, but it could just be the ashes. Here comes the show. Okay, it's cool. You can see the temperature effects on the steel. I'm going to get some emery cloth to clean off the surface. There we go. That looks interesting, doesn't it? The steel feels stiffer than it did before. At the tip where it was thin, it was soft as butter before. Now it's resisting more. Alright, well, I'm going to need a file to do hardness testing, but at least at first glimpse, this seems to have worked. Pork barbecue based carburization. It's a thing, apparently. Cut through that effortlessly. I think we have some usable steel.